We have to talk about Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe. Both of these players have been exceptional this season. Definitely going neck and neck to become Europe's top goal scorer across all competitions. And after watching Erling Haaland face against Bournemouth, the goals that he took were absolutely outstanding. But it's not only the goal scoring opportunities, it's his build up play, it's his link up play, which has definitely improved for this season. And that goes the same for Kylian Mbappe. Under Xabi Alonso, he has been absolutely outstanding. And in the right positions at the right time, scoring penalties when he has to. These are all strikers' obligations, and these are the true number 9s this season. Obviously, Harry Kane is also inclusive in that conversation. Don't forget about him, because he is probably a very all-round number 9 in terms of technique, build-up, passing. Everything around Harry Kane is catered towards Bayern Munich. But also, them two, in terms of Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe, they are doing exactly the same. And you've just got to ask this question, and I will ask this question while you like this video and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this question. Who will end up the top goal scorer across all competitions? Will it be Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe, or Harry Kane? It's going to be a very difficult question to answer because they are all outstanding. But let me just go into Bournemouth's match today, because with everything in this match riding on Man City clawing the gap to Arsenal and Bournemouth sitting in a very pretty position in the Premier League, you were just expecting Erling Haaland to do wonders today. And one of the goals where he just held up the play, it was a little chip ball onto Cherki. Cherki headed onto Haaland. Haaland making an absolute bursting run down the centre of the park to score his goal. These are all qualities of a striker that Manchester City need, and need to go deep in all competitions. Will they be Champions League favourites? No, because there are other teams in there, such as Arsenal, PSG. You can include Bayern Munich and Real Madrid in that. But am I afraid as a Real Madrid fan for Erling Haaland to come to the Bernabéu? Of course, in this form. Who wouldn't be afraid? Because he is absolutely incredible. And he's just carrying Man City at the moment on his own two shoulders. The goals that he is getting is allowing Man City to keep in contention with the Premier League leaders Arsenal. Even with a points gap, that deficit there, Arsenal are not in too much of a distance. They are in touching distance, Man City, that could obviously become something later on in the season if Arsenal were to drop points. But Manchester City, honestly, today against Bournemouth, absolutely outstanding as a team as well. Nick O'Reilly getting his goal as well. What a great prospect that is for Premier League football. He was outstanding today as well. The build-up in the midfield, how he's controlling the tempo as well. Excellent. But ultimately, with Manchester City and Real Madrid about to face off later on this year, Mbappe, on the other hand, is getting his goals. He's getting his goals every single match. He's not faltering in any type of opportunities. He's always calm, level-headed. And I think with Haaland and how he plays the football, it's very different to Mbappe. Mbappe uses a little bit more technique, can drive away from players, can dribble past players. When Haaland, obviously because he's built, he's a much bigger guy than Mbappe, he needs to be pretty much on the line with the defender. But if he does break the defender, and in that line, he will absolutely punish you. Can Real Madrid stop him? I don't even know. That's a big question in itself. But with Arsenal, the only team essentially to concede an open goal from Haaland, that takes some doing. And Haaland this year is definitely one of the best players in Europe at the moment. This is across all positions, with Mbappe also there. Because Mbappe, what he can do is he feeds off the kind of momentum that Real Madrid will have in these games. Look at Valencia, what he done, how he's literally guided himself into the pockets, driving runs behind the defensive line, which we saw in El Clasico, and throughout several matches this season, really being clinical. And he's been turned into a number 9. He's naturally a left winger, but turning him into a number 9, and obviously that talk with CR7 probably helped him in terms of how he's going to guide himself to become a true number 9, because his pace is frightening. Mbappe and Haaland both have great pace. And I know pace and power is very overused in today's football, but it works. When you are in that defensive position and that defensive line, you are going to be catching these men all the time because they're just going to break you. They're going to absolutely break you, and you're going to be trailing behind them. Like Haaland today, with Bournemouth's defence trying to catch up to him. And the second goal, honestly, unbelievable. The way he just glides inside past the keeper and then shoots in the back of the net. What a brilliant performance by Erling Haaland. And you can just say all the things about Erling Haaland that you want to, that he's slow, he's a bit sluggish, but at the end of the day, he is a true striker. He is a man that's going to make you work as centre-backs. Every single team in Europe should be fearful of Erling Haaland. And when you have players like Cherki, for example, who can pass and feed you the ball, Foden, these kind of players, they are going to be a massive, massive trouble for a lot of these big teams in Europe. And Man City are always going to be also up there to win the Premier League on a season-by-season basis. Not last year, but this year, they are definitely contenders. And Real Madrid, we've seen it also this year when breaking away from Barcelona, breaking away from the rest of the pack, and really just dominating LaLiga for the fun of it. I could see us, as Real Madrid, beating teams left, right, and centre, showing pure dominance. And it's because of Mbappe's goals, let's be honest. I know that's one of the points that maybe we need to work on in terms of actually spreading the goals around, because Vinny's looking for goals as well. Maybe Franco Mastantuono's looking for goals, but Mbappe's the focal point. He's the one who's going to be getting the goals. He's the one in the right positions all the time, like Erling Haaland. And with Mbappe also, what he likes doing is dropping a little bit deeper, linking the play also, because he can feed off the left as well. He can also play with Vinny in a 1-2 situation, given goals. But Haaland is centrally focused. Mbappe is centrally focused, but also can play with freedom of movement in certain locations. But what Haaland offers in terms of crossing ability as well, trying to get crosses, headers, these kind of opportunities are also for Mbappe, maybe on a plate if it's in clear space, like for example against Valencia. But the crossing ability of Man City and then Haaland with his height, his physical stature, that is a big positive for Manchester City. Real Madrid have not really got that height in the central area from corners, apart from the centre-backs, including Dean Howson, Militao. That's it, really, and Bellingham in the midfield. Apart from that, Tchouaméni as well, but apart from that, there's not much there. So you need a kind of focal point in the center of the park, in the striking area, that can really be dangerous in those areas. And that's where Harry Kane fits into the conversation, because Harry Kane is a jack of all trades. He can drop deep into a false nine, link the play really well, but also he can get his headers. He can shoot outside the box as well. Mbappe, we've seen him do that also this season. But Kane, all round, is probably a better striker than both of these. But he lacks that pace that he needs to become in that conversation for this season. But he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. Erling Haaland, he needs it, that pace. Kylian Mbappe, he needs the pace also. That is what you're looking at in terms of football ability, because the pace, if you take it away from them, then you're looking at a player that maybe with not the best first touches, not the best dribbling, the best IQ, but Mbappe and Haaland, they have amazing finishing capabilities. So it is obviously balancing up. And Kane for Bayern Munich, we've seen him already this year, how many goals he's getting. And in the Champions League as well, Mbappe in the Champions League as well, Haaland in the Champions League as well, international stage as well. These are all very, very good points to make when saying, okay, who is really going to come out on top? Who's going to be the best number 9 this season? I still got my money on Mbappe because I see Real Madrid actually going deeper into competitions, and because La Liga is a little bit weaker than the Premier League. I'm not sure about Bundesliga in its entirety, but because it's weaker than the Premier League, you will see that Mbappe will get more goals against a lower position in La Liga. But in La Liga, also the teams, they love defending with a low block. They love it. And that is the majority of lower league teams. So there are things that weigh up each point. There are things that show in favor of Kylian Mbappe. There are things that show in favor of Erling Haaland. But ultimately, it's down to the managers also. It's because Pep and Xabi Alonso, they know how to get the best out of their players. And Erling Haaland, like last season also, people think that he went missing, but he got his goal still. But this season, Man City also need to spread the goals out. So it's good to see players like Nico O'Reilly getting goals, Cherki getting goals. These kind of players, because in the overall grand scheme of things, you need to spread out your goals. And same with Real Madrid. Vini needs to get goals. Franco needs to get goals. Arda needs to get goals. Bellingham from deep positions in midfield can get his goals as well, which we've seen during the last 3 games. So ultimately, Real Madrid and Man City, they need to be focused also on Mbappe and Haaland, but look at the midfield, look at different options, look at different outlets, because Haaland, his passing has improved, and definitely improved. Mbappe, his passing has improved. His dribbling has improved as well, Mbappe. Like his first touch quality in terms of the quality of control is much better than last year. Last year was a bit kind of ricochet on his feet. But this season, he's proving what he is as a player. And when he can back into defenders and then allow the team around him also to develop and play and help the ball just move up the pitch ever so slightly, then you're always going to get goal scoring opportunities. And Mbappe, defenders are thinking in his mind how quick he's going to be behind the defensive line. Haaland, the same thing. Defenders are thinking how quick is Haaland going to be. Because if you leave those gaps and you leave those acres of spaces like we saw today with Bournemouth, he's going to absolutely destroy you. And same with Mbappe when we saw against Valencia and other teams as well this year. So their goals are just speaking for itself. These guys, you wouldn't be surprised if they end up in 50s or 60s. You never know. The way they are getting goals is unbelievable. I'm talking about also international stage as well this season, because we got the World Cup at the end of the season as well. So there are so many avenues for these guys to score, and they are going to be in absolute form. They're going to be a menace. Honestly, there are so many avenues, so many competitions. You're looking at Copa del Rey as well. You're looking at the FA Cup, which Haaland could be really good in. Copa del Rey likewise for Kylian Mbappe. You got the German Cups as well, like for Harry Kane. And it's getting into those kind of stages. Are the true number 9s coming back into football? Because before, we have for example, your Rauls, you have your Van Nistelrooys. And now they're coming back into the game because Mbappe is keeping people on their toes. And when he's being that true number 9, he is very, very dangerous. And people can look at it elsewhere that he should be playing on the left wing. He should be playing in the centre. That's what he is here this year to do. He's not here to mess about. He's here to get goals. Haaland is thinking exactly the same. I'm here to get goals. And let me say something about Haaland. When he breaks away from the defence as well, nobody can catch him. That guy's got electric pace. When he's full in stride, unbelievable. I would love to see them in a race, actually, Haaland and Mbappe. You never know. I think Mbappe is quicker, just slightly. But in full stride, Haaland is absolutely electric. And he doesn't need too many touches. He takes in his stride, and then he eyes the goal and laser into the back of the net. That's it, simple. Maybe in finishing, in terms of overall finishing, the quality of finishing, Haaland has the edge on Mbappe. But Mbappe is a bit more of the fuller package. He can obviously go out onto the left, go onto the right, link play, create opportunities with the midfield as well. And you can see that Mbappe's runs are gradually increasing, gradually improving with every game. Because Now Bellingham's inclusive of the games. Now Arda's inclusive of the games. You get players like Camavinga, Tchouaméni, who play with him in the French team as well. And they know what Mbappe's about. They know what he can deliver. And this Champions League this season also is going to show what these two players can really do against the biggest teams in Europe. Because that match I will see in Man City versus Real Madrid in the Bernabéu is going to be an absolute classic. It is the European Classico. That's what it is. Because those two teams, they're going head-to-head pretty much every season. And it's always who comes out on the top is going to be who gets the goals. Is it Erling Haaland or is it Kylian Mbappe? And then you see, I keep on mentioning Kane throughout this video. He is always waiting in the wings. He's just literally just waiting for his chance to play Arsenal at the end of November. Because if Arsenal can keep Erling Haaland out, then, I mean, well, he didn't keep Erling Haaland out, but if he can keep Kane out, then it is going to be an absolute, I don't know, with Arsenal. They're a different ball game this year. Those two defenders, I don't think they'll be able to keep Kane out. I'm going to be honest. I think Kane, his goal scoring ratio just speaks for himself. And he is just so great in an all-round manner. But this video is all about Erling Haaland and Mbappe. Who is going to come out on top? You let me know, people, in the chat, in the comments, because I'm so super excited to see who is coming out on top. There are certain games that you look at on the kind of the match fixtures, and Mbappe is going to have the easier games. That's factual. He is. When you're playing lower league opposition in Spain, he's going to have the easier games. He's going to have more goal scoring opportunities. They have a tendency to leave the door wide open sometimes, but also defend for their life. But Haaland is doing it in the Premier League where the pace of the football is intense, the defending is intense, the pressing is intense, and he is just making things look easy. That's the difference between Erling Haaland and Mbappe. There was always obviously rumours that Erling Haaland could potentially join Real Madrid in the future. I don't know with his contract status. I could not tell. But if Erling Haaland was to join with Kylian Mbappe, I think Real Madrid will dominate Europe and Spain for years to come. It will be an absolute bloodbath. It will just be a crazy scene, a crazy sight to see those two in exactly the same team, and Mbappe may be feeding off the left, and he will do the role that Vini's doing essentially this season and feeding players inside the middle. That is what's happening. So, look, I'm just super excited for both of these players. I think they're both excellent in what they do. They can control the game by virtue of them scoring so many goals. That is something that is unheard of in football unless you're of a few elite footballers. And the three that I mentioned today in this video, Mbappe, Haaland and Kane, they are in this select group. Isak is nowhere near them. Isak is nowhere near. And you have these elite strikers, you're always going to get chances in games. You could be down and out, and then these strikers will just pop out of nowhere. Lewandowski used to have that previously. Karim Benzema used to have that previously. You see, when Benzema played Chelsea, unbelievable. Lewandowski, finals, unbelievable. This is the kind of players that you need in your team, and they could pop out with a goal out of nowhere, out of thin air, and you never see it coming. Because Haaland, Mbappe, and Kane are just that good, and it's going to take a monstrous defense to stop them. And if that defense is going to be Arsenal, it's going to be Inter, it's going to be one of the teams in Europe in Champions League, then so be it. But in the domestic competitions, they are going to walk it. Because Barcelona, I tell you, Mbappe with Barcelona, that's always going to be a foregone conclusion. He's always going to get opportunities against Barcelona. Mbappe is on that smoke this year, and so is Haaland. And obviously, Haaland's already played Arsenal, and now he needs to phase in other games that he needs to think of against the biggest sides in England. Can he get those goals? Can he get the opportunities that he wants? And if he does that, then ultimately you're going to see a dominant performance from both of these players. And obviously Kane as well, Bundesliga, Champions League as well. I would like to do a video Kane in the future, so let me know if you want to see that. Like this video. Don't forget to comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. And we are out of here, guys. Take care, and it's time to end the stream, Dave. Take care, people. Adios, and a la Madrid y nada más. Adios.